All right, we're about to dive into one of the most incredible human stories I've ever heard. Seriously, it's a story that gets right to the heart of a huge question about who we really are.
Think about it for a second. Are you completely 100% unique? You probably think so, right? I mean, of course you are. But identical twins? They really challenge that idea. They're not just lookalikes. They can share opinions, little mannerisms, and personality traits that are, well, it's kind of spooky.
And that uncanny similarity between twins brings us to one of the biggest puzzles in all of science, this age-old debate about what it is that truly makes us, us. So you've got two major forces at play. On one side, there's nature. That's your genes, the DNA blueprint you get from your parents. And on the other side, you've got nurture, your environment, how you were raised, all your life experiences. To figure out which one has more pull, scientists have this perfect natural experiment, finding identical twins who were separated at birth and grew up in totally different homes. This is exactly what the famous Minnesota twins study set out to do. Researchers went on a mission to find these separated twins. They wanted to see what happens, what similarities stick around when you basically take nurture out of the equation. And that's how they stumbled upon the most famous pair of all.
And this is where the story gets so wild it almost sounds like fiction. Let me tell you about the Jim twins.
Okay, so picture this. Jim Lewis and Jim Springer. They're identical twins, but they were separated when they were only 4 weeks old. One Jim found out he had a twin when he was 5, but as a little kid it didn't really sink in. The other Jim found out at age 8, but his adoptive parents figured his brother had passed away. So for 39 years, they lived their own lives, completely clueless that the other existed. And then they finally met.
And what they discovered about their parallel lives was just jaw-dropping. We're not talking about a few little coincidences here. The similarities were so deep and so specific that they completely baffled the very scientists who were studying them.
So what did they find? Okay, you got to brace yourself for this list of things that their separate lives somehow produced. It's uncanny.
Okay, first off, both of their adopted families, with zero contact, decided to name their son James. As kids, they both had a dog named Toy. As adults, they both got married twice. And get this, the name of both of their first wives was Linda. And their second wives, I'm not kidding, both were named Betty.
And as absolutely wild as that is, believe me, the coincidences just get more and more specific. And honestly, a little freaky.
One, Jim, named his son James Allen. The other named his son James Allen with one L. They both drove the same kind of light blue Chevrolet. They both, without knowing it, liked a vacation at the very same little beach in Florida. Both had even worked as part-time sheriffs. And it gets down to their personal habits and health. Both were chronic fingernail biters, and both suffered from painful migraine headaches.
So, what on earth does a story like this actually tell us? Is it just some 1 in a billion statistical fluke, or does it point to something way deeper about how much our genes really control our destiny?
And here's the thing. While the Jim twins are for sure the most extreme example, they're not a total anomaly. Other separated twins show these weird echoes in their lives. You've got Tom Patterson and Steve Tizumi, raised in totally different worlds, one in rural Kansas, the other in Philadelphia. And yet both men, on their own, decided to pursue the exact same career. They both own bodybuilding gyms. So, when you put decades of this research together, the conclusion is, well, it's pretty hard to ignore. While your environment, your upbringing absolutely matters, it seems like a huge chunk of our core characteristics, our personalities, our tendencies, even our habits, is heavily influenced by our genes. All this research leads to a really powerful, and for some people, a kind of unsettling conclusion. It suggests that in a lot of ways, the script for who we're going to become as adults is already written into our DNA long before we even take our first breath. So, what does this mean for you? It really forces us to stop and think about what it means to be an individual. How much of the person we become is really under our own control? And that's really the ultimate question that the story of the Jim twins leaves us with. When you look in the mirror, how much of that person staring back is a product of your own choices, and how much of it was already mapped out in your genetic code from the very beginning? It's a thought that's as fascinating as it is, well, profound.